I had never seen a storm like that in the mountains. The wind roared as if 1,000 voices were merging into one scream. I ran between the trees, soaked, the flashlight trembling in my hand, and then I saw her. Her silhouette massive, outlined by lightning, a woman. No, a giant bare-shouldered, her hair falling like a dark waterfall. Her wet skin gleamed under the rain, and her eyes were an impossible green, almost glowing. "I've been looking for you," she said. Her voice so deep, I felt the ground vibrate beneath my feet. I stumbled back, tripping over a root. "Who are you?" I stammered. But she only smiled. In a movement that seemed unreal, she lifted me in her hands as if I were a toy. Her skin was warm, damp, alive. "You said you'd come back," she whispered, bringing her face close to mine. "And that you'd give me a child." My heart exploded in my chest. None of this made sense. That night by the lake, it had been a dream, a vision, a hallucination, hadn't it? But now she was here, in front of me. Flesh and blood, more real than any nightmare. The rain stopped all at once. The forest fell silent, as if nature itself bowed before her. The air thickened, a low hum surrounding us. Before I could react, the giant carried me to her lair, an enormous cabin carved into the rock. Inside, the air smelled of strange flowers and resin smoke. The walls were covered in carved symbols, and in the center stood a massive bed made of furs. She set me gently on a stone table and leaned over me. "Why did you run, little one?" she asked, stroking me with a finger that could have crushed my skull if she wanted. I swallowed hard. "I can't give you what you want," I murmured. "I'm not like you." Her smile faded. The air grew cold. A shadow crossed her eyes. "You cannot break a pact sealed under the eclipse." "That was a mistake," I said. "I didn't even know you were real." She sighed, and the ground shook. "Then you leave me no choice." Before I could escape, a blue light sealed the doorway with an electric glow. The sound of a magical lock echoed through the cave. I was trapped. I turned toward her, breathing heavily as her eyes burned brighter. "You won't escape this time," she whispered. "You'll be mine. Until you give me what's rightfully mine." And in that moment, I understood. She wasn't human. She was something far older, a creature of myth, a guardian of giant blood, and I had been chosen. I woke in a reddish twilight. I didn't know how long I'd been there. The light leaking through the cracks in the ceiling seemed to come from a different sun, darker, heavier. I lay on a bed of huge furs, covered by a blanket that smelled of wet earth and strange flowers. When I tried to sit up, something glowed on my chest. A mark? A circular symbol, like an intertwined spiral with ancient lines burned faintly beneath my skin. I touched it, and sharp pain shot through my body. "Don't try to erase it," her voice said behind me. She was there, crouched, watching me with unsettling calm. The firelight outlined her giant figure, her golden skin, her hair cascading like a curtain over her bare shoulders. "What did you do to me?" I managed to say. "I marked you," she replied without hesitation. "It's the seal of the pact. Your body now belongs to me, and so does your offspring." Her voice was a mix of longing and sorrow. She walked toward me, each step making the cave tremble. She picked me up carefully, as if lifting something fragile. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she whispered. "But when you left, the balance broke. My kind chose you, human. Only you can preserve our lineage." "That's insane," I shouted. "I can't have a child with you. I'm not like me," she interrupted. She knelt until her face was level with mine. Her lips so close I could feel her warm breath. "Maybe not yet." Then I saw something that froze my blood. Her pupils dilated until they turned black. And for an instant, her skin glowed with lines of light as if molten lava flowed within her. "If you reject your destiny," she went on, "the seal will consume you. But if you accept it, you'll see the world as I do." I stumbled back, knocking over a clay jar that shattered on the ground. Inside was something that looked like a heart, beating faintly. What the hell is that? I asked, backing away. She looked down, almost ashamed. My last attempt to create life without you, it failed. The silence was unbearable. Only the crackle of the fire filled the air. My mind screamed to escape, but my body was already responding to the heat of her presence. The mark burned brighter, as if pulling me toward her. Then I knew the seal was changing me. Not physically yet, but something inside me, something unseen, had started to give in. She smiled, noticing my trembling. "You feel it already, don't you?" she murmured. "The bond. Don't fight it, my little human. Soon, you'll understand. Why I was created for you." Her massive hand caressed my face with unsettling tenderness. Outside, thunder rumbled, and the cave walls shimmered with blue light. It was as if the universe itself was breathing with us. And in that moment, I swore I'd find a way out, even if I had to face the gods who had brought her into the world. That night, I didn't sleep. The fire kept burning in the center of the cave, casting shadows that moved along the walls like living creatures. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the symbol on my chest blazing and heard a voice inside my head. "Don't run from your destiny." When she awoke, I saw her step through an opening in the rock that led to an impossible valley. From there, I beheld a landscape that did not belong to Earth. Floating mountains suspended by streams of energy. Rivers flowing upward, and a twin sky split between golden daylight and eternal darkness. The giantess walked to a stone altar and raised her arms. Her body began to glow. I realized she was praying or summoning something, and then I heard it. A deep murmur like an ancient choir answering from the mountains. I seized the moment to search for a way out. On the opposite wall, I spotted a crack leading to a tunnel. I ran, but after only 3 steps, an invisible force threw me to the ground. The mark on my chest burned intensely. I felt invisible chains tightening around my ribs. She turned her head slowly, her eyes blazing with fury. "Are you trying to escape me?" "After what we shared, we didn't share anything," I shouted, clawing at the mark on my chest. "You don't own me." Her expression shifted. It wasn't anger. Anymore, it was pain. A pain so deep it made me shiver. "You don't understand, human. I'm not free either. I'm bound to the pact just like you. If you die, I die with you." Her words stopped me cold. For a moment, the silence was absolute. She extended her hand toward me, and her skin filled with glowing symbols, the same ones that burned on my chest. "Come," she said in a trembling voice. "There's something you must see." She lifted me to her face and carried me out of the cave. From high above the valley, she pointed to a hill made of translucent stone. Inside that hill, enormous shapes moved, colossal bodies asleep like statues of light. "They are the last of my kind," she whispered, "the star giants. They need an heir to awaken, and that heir can only be born from me and you." "Why me?" I asked. Barely a whisper. She looked at me with infinite sorrow. "Because you're the last descendant of the ancient travelers, the ones who seeded life among worlds. In your blood flows the spark of the gods who created ours." The air filled with a low sound, like the heartbeat of something vast beneath the earth. The crystal hill began to pulse in rhythm with my chest. Then I understood. The seal I bore was the key to awaken those sleeping beings, but also the anchor that bound me to her. And as the lights of the sleeping giants slowly ignited beneath the ground, the giant woman's voice echoed again, filled with both hope and despair. "Help me save them, or we'll perish together." My mind wavered between compassion and fear. But deep down, I knew a brutal truth. If I did what she asked, I might never be human again. The whole valley throbbed like a heart about to burst. The floating mountains glowed from within, each pulse shaking the ground beneath my feet. The giantess sheik carried me to the central altar, a circle of carved stone inscribed with runes burning in blue fire. "Everything is ready," she said, looking at me with a mixture of fear and devotion. "Only your choice remains. The wind roared, carrying echoes of distant voices, voices of beings that seemed to sing from the bowels of the world. The sleeping giants stirred beneath the crystal hill, as if responding to the call. I looked at her, unable to speak. Her body shone, her skin veined with glowing cracks, as if she were holding back an immense energy. She was beautiful, yes, but terrifying. If I do this, I finally said, what will happen to me? She lowered her gaze. Your human form won't survive the bond. You'll become like me, an eternal guardian. My throat tightened. I didn't want that. I didn't want to lose my humanity, my life, my memories. But the symbol on my chest pulsed harder, synchronized with the giants' hearts. It was as if something inside me had already made the choice. And if I refuse, I asked. She stepped closer, her voice now trembling. Then you'll die. And with you, everything left of my kind will perish. Silence. Only the sound of our breathing. Her gaze pierced through me. I don't ask for love or desire. I ask for faith. Just once, more trust me. And for the first time, I saw fear in her. Not the fear of a goddess or a monster, but the human fear of losing everything. I stepped forward and placed my hand on her skin right over her giant heart, which thundered beneath my palm. The mark on my chest responded with a burst of light. The sky split open. A golden beam descended upon us, and I felt a burning current surge through my body. I screamed, but my voice blended with a cosmic roar. I saw my hands dissolve into particles, my veins ignite like rivers of fire. She held me, crying. Hold on, just a little longer. Through her skin, I could see her soul, memories of an ancient world, of cities built upon Saturn's rings, of wars between gods and dying stars. Centuries flashed before my eyes like a raging storm, and then I saw the future. The child she longed for on immense being, half human, half celestial. But not a monster, a bridge between worlds. The power erupted. A shockwave tore through the valley. The floating mountains rose higher, and the sleeping giants opened their eyes. Their light flooded everything. I fell to my knees, gasping. My body burned, my skin cracked with glowing blue veins. She embraced me, her tears falling like crystals. You did it, she whispered. You're one of us now. But inside me, something still resisted. A human spark refusing to yield. I looked toward the horizon, where the giants were slowly rising, and I knew there was still one choice left to make. The air blazed. The floating mountains spun slowly across the sky, guardians of fire. Below, the newly awakened giants emerged from the crystal hill, their colossal bodies shining like contained suns, and among them, me. My skin was a constellation of blue light. I felt the force of the earth, the wind, and time itself flowing through me. I was no longer fully human, but not one of them either. I was something in between, a fracture between two worlds. She looked down at me, then knelt before me. For the first time, the giantess, my captor, my destiny, my curse bowed her head. The cycle is complete, she said softly. They will live because of you. I took a deep breath. The air tasted of electricity and ash, and me. I asked, what happens to me? Her smile was sorrowful, almost human. You will be the guardian of this world. The first giant born from love and fear. I stepped closer. The mark on my chest still glowed, but it no longer hurt. It now pulsed in rhythm with my heart. It wasn't love, I said. It was choice, and I choose to set you free. Her expression changed. What are you saying? I raised my hands toward her. The symbol on my chest expanded into a sphere of pure light, and I felt the bond between us begin to unravel. The energy of the pact shattered with a flash that shook the entire valley. She cried out, not in pain, but in shock. You can't. If you break the seal, I'll vanish. Then rest, I said softly. You don't have to be bound to an ancient vow anymore. The light enveloped her. Her body dissolved into golden particles that drifted toward the sky. Before disappearing completely, She looked at me one last time with a tenderness that pierced my soul. Thank you, little human, for reminding me what it felt like to feel, and then she was gone. Silence fell over the valley. The giants, now awake, looked at me as if waiting for a sign. They didn't know who I was. Neither did I. All I knew was that, for the first time, I was free. I walked to the edge of the hill. From there, I saw the world. We had awakened a new planet, fertile, alive with glowing light and breathing mountains. It wasn't my Earth. Maybe it never would be, but it was beautiful. The mark on my chest faded slowly, leaving only a faint scar. And in that moment, I understood. My destiny was never to be a father, nor a prisoner, but a witness. A witness to the end of one race and the birth of another. I looked up at the sky divided between two suns, closed my eyes, and let the wind carry the last echo of her voice until the stars die. You will always be remembered. And so began my new existence, half human, half legend. The last human among giants. If you enjoyed this story, leave a like and tell us which city in the world you're watching from. And to see more fascinating videos like this one, subscribe to the channel.